On Sue, we're ready. Welcome to our annual Archdiocesan Oratorical Competition. This year's topic is, what do you believe makes a true hero? This is a topic which can be approached from many different perspectives, as you will witness here today, and our contestants have worked very hard for several weeks researching and developing their speeches. Every year, one challenging aspect of this contest is gathering a panel of well-qualified judges who are both willing and able to serve in this capacity, and I would like to introduce them to you now. We welcome back Bill Torpey. He has been a writer for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution for over 30 years and is a Metro columnist covering topics ranging from politics to poverty, crime to community issues, basically most facets of the human condition. Mr. Torpey understands the importance of knowing how to write well-crafted stories, ones that are researched and intriguing to a variety of readers. He has written about many heroes in our community himself. So thank you once again for bringing your experience and insight to this competition. Cynthia C.J. Becker, a successful trial lawyer, worked in the legal profession for almost 30 years and was elected to a position of Superior Court judge in 2000, where she presided over cases until retiring in 2015 to travel. Listening to lawyers deliver speeches and determining the strength of their argument was an important part of her job every day. So thank you for lending your expertise, Judge Becker. And finally, we have Kim Woodland, who is a trial attorney here in Atlanta representing corporations, hospitals, physicians, and other healthcare providers. She must know how to listen to others and discern the nuances that make a presentation honest, noteworthy, and intriguing. So thank you once again for bringing your understanding of the importance of both substance and style to our contest today. So welcome back to each of you, and thank you all for giving of your time, talent, and experience. And now, let's begin with our first speaker.
Flames are raging, shooting into the sky. A man bursts through the fire, a young child in his arms. The crowd of civilians cheer, and the man is considered a hero. A man saves a comrade during war, braving the dangers to help his friend. He is awarded a medal for his bravery. Both of these men are revered as heroes and have done life-saving deeds. But what about the woman at the hospital, comforting the little boy? What about the woman at the store, doing her best to go through her day with kindness? The heroes we look up to in our society often fit into the first examples, showing people, particularly men, enduring times of war or tragedy, doing bold, courageous acts to save lives and protect civilians. However, we tend to overlook the people that silently practice heroism and bravery. Think about your definition of a hero. Who are the heroes in your life? Heroes don't always have to be the knight in shining armor, rushing through enemy fire to save the day. A hero can be the unassuming person that goes out of their way to do one of the most difficult feats, to try and do a simple, kind act to everyone they meet. Carl Jung proposed we have two archetypes, one being heroes. Heroes reveal our missing qualities, and they give us hope in a world plagued with obstacles. Yet the only heroes we look up to are the ones who do bold, life-saving deeds by any means necessary. In fact, the American Academy of Pediatrics states that heroes in movies are shown participating in more violence than the villains. This sends a negative message to the viewers, and it clouds our definition of a hero, causing us to overlook the people that show a less gallant, yet just as heroic version of the title. When we limit ourselves to one perspective, we miss those around us, facing their day-to-day challenges with bravery and love. We miss the people that show a type of heroism everyone in our world is capable of, the heroism of kindness and integrity. In the words of Janelle de Guzman, being a hero doesn't automatically mean doing something big and being on the covers of newspapers and magazines. Heroism means doing something for someone or something, whether it's for a person, an animal, or nature itself. A hero is someone who does something for others, even if no one notices it. Guzman pretty much sums it up. A hero is someone who has the bravery and courage to do what's right. Many people limit their idea of the definition of bravery. They believe it is only demonstrated when facing great danger and risks with your head held high, and tend to forget that it covers a wider spectrum. Bravery is officially defined as the state of having or showing mental or moral strength to face difficulty. Doing what's right and showing everyone, not just a select few, kindness is truly showing bravery. Saint Therese of Lisieux was a great example of this. She was the creator of the Little Way, a practice in which you try and do a small act of kindness throughout the day, and it'll amount to great change. Heroes can be that unassuming person in the background, silently planting the seeds for that change. When we're young, our heroes are typically our parents. They are our role models, and we look up to them for guidance. They are the ones that care for us, show us love, heal our wounds with the magic of a kiss. We know that they will always be there for us. As we grow older, we have the ability to recognize the heroism we saw in our parents and others. We can recognize the heroism of the woman at the hospital, comforting the small child. We can understand the heroism of facing the day with a smile on your face and love in your actions, no matter what the day throws your way. When I think of this, the first people that come to my mind are the women at the Gift of Grace Hospice. Ever since I was 5, they've been like my grandmothers. And even though they have faced so many challenges and hardships throughout their lives, you can always count on them to greet you with so much love. The bravery in that, the special light that shines from that, is what makes the ladies heroes in my life. So again, I ask the question, who are your heroes? Heroes can be the people that quietly show kindness and love throughout their lives. We all have heroes we are close to, and we all have the ability to be heroes to others. Saint Therese said, "I can prove my worth only by scattering flowers." That is to say, by never letting slip a single little sacrifice, a single glance, a single word, by making profit of the very smallest actions by doing them for love. Thank you.
The hero. It is one of the most constant concepts throughout history. Man has always desired a better to look up to, an adversary to oppose to find meaning in their lives. The hero is a representation of the current culture of the time that the common person inhabits. The hero, after all, has not always been a fireman or a veteran. The hero is an ideal that is defined by what the culture of the time is. While the hero itself is hard to define, it is possible to find something that leads to what the essentials of a hero are. There are many conflicting definitions of heroism. The definition in the modern era is a person noted for courageous acts or nobility of character. According to dictionary.com, this comes from the Greek version of the word, which is in reference to many definitions. It happens to refer to the word warrior. This was the first iteration of the hero. And it is important because it shows that ancient cultures valued heroes of great martial strength and valor. However, as these ancient cultures fell historically and time marched on, a new hero would emerge, usurping the old hierarchy. This new hero was martyrs, those who suffered great pains for their faith. The religious hero was pious and sacrificing. This is a manifestation of the current culture of the time, that of the outbursting of faith. The piety of the commoner and the death of Jesus evoke strong emotions in those who would go on to be considered heroes by the church and by many others. However, as time progressed once more, a new hero would emerge that would be the antithesis of this ideal. This new hero reflected the wants of the noble. This hero would be the embodiment of the ideal of manliness, that showing any emotion was a weakness. This reflected the wants of the noble, but also of secularism, which could be in reference to the historical conflicts of the time between the Church and the Holy Roman Empire. Which raises an important question. When heroes are born out of such an ideological power struggle, are they really heroes at all, or mere pieces of propaganda used to further an ultimate end? The hero is someone who at the very least has to be genuine. Other than that, everything else is controlled by what the culture of the time fundamentally is. These historical heroes are estranged from what we consider to be heroes now, so they feel false in a sense. But the hero is not just good. Adolf Hitler, Benito Mussolini, Saddam Hussein. What do all these men have in common? They believed that they were doing the right thing, but history proved them to be wrong. According to an academic project known as the Hero Project, on the road to greatness or some cultural ideal, a villain consciously chooses evil in pursuit of heroism. This shows that any culture could potentially shape an Adolf Hitler in pursuit of such cultural greatness. Other than leaders, we often consider celebrities heroes. This portrays the one aspect of the hero, genuinity. Every single thing about celebrities is false, manufactured, created to maximize profit, generation, and popularity. The manufactured aspect of a celebrity is too powerful to determine true personality or values. Next is the hometown hero, the heroic citizen, firefighter, veteran, policeman, etc. This version of the hero is often covered. It is undeniable that the hometown hero is generally a normal person and does great things, but not always. Sometimes they are fundamentally bad people who do good things unknowingly. While the concept of the hometown hero is great, with time stating it was the democratization of the hero, this assessment is correct, but it also betrays what man desires out of a hero currently. We want a hero to be like us, to be normal. But as seen with previous examples, this definition of the hero will change, and that is something that must be accepted. The hero, while something that is not noble, entirely noble, or set in stone, is still undeniably an important part of society, who provide hope and a sense of safety to others. They may be metaphorically destroyed in the next century, but it is important to know that the hero is forged by the cultural values of the time. All that can be done is to raise the next generation with important virtues and values that they will carry with them when the next generation of heroes is founded. Thank you.
Hard times don't create heroes. It is during these hard times that the hero is revealed in someone, said Alabama Governor Bob Riley. For St. Maria Goretti, hard times revealed the best in her. When Maria was at the young age of 11, her neighbor Alessandro harshly assaulted her. Her wounds were far too serious to survive, and while Maria was on her deathbed, she forgave Alessandro for everything that he had done to her. She said she wanted to see him again in heaven one day. This unconditional love that Maria displayed is one of the traits required for being a hero. There are many traits desired for heroes, and these traits have been displayed by many figures throughout our history. First, in order to be a hero, one must love unconditionally. We see this salient value in Jesus' last moments on the cross. He forgave the Romans who killed him, and as written by Luke, he said, "Father, forgive them. They know not what they do." Jesus miraculously forgave the men who sentenced him to death for something he didn't even do. This same trait was displayed by St. Maria Goretti in her story that I have told earlier. We should strive to be like Maria and Jesus and love those we may not even like. When you love all, you are truly displaying heroism. Another key trait in being a hero is perseverance in standing up for what is right. In order to see the importance of this trait, we can turn to scriptures. As said in Philippians, "Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, for all those who are destitute. Speak up and judge fairly. Defend the rights of the poor and needy." We can also turn to a world hero like Nelson Mandela to see this trait. Mandela worked in South Africa to end apartheid, which is similar to racial segregation. He was put into jail for 27 years because of his actions, and when he was released, he was elected as the first black president of South Africa, ending the cruel prejudice of apartheid. Mandela's courage and perseverance truly displayed what a hero should be. When you stand up for what you know is just, you are truly being a hero. Similar to standing up for what is right, another key trait in being a hero is putting others before yourself. We can see this trait in scriptures. As said in Proverbs, "Do nothing out of selfishness or vainglory. Rather, treat others as though they are more important than yourself." We can also see this trait in a modern-day hero like John McCain. McCain fought in the Vietnam War when he was taken prisoner. Although he was tortured and beaten, he still refused to leave without his comrades. When McCain was finally released with his fellow soldiers, he ran for Senate and was elected as a senator of Arizona. His history has helped him with military matters. McCain's courage and selflessness displayed what is desired for heroes. We should be encouraged to be like McCain and put others before ourselves, no matter how major or trivial the situation. In conclusion, there are many traits that we desire for heroes. These traits that are based on loving and caring for others have been displayed by many historical figures. Many of you will ask why you should care. Although you do not have to be a notable hero or a household name, our faith still encourages us to display these traits that I have mentioned. Just remember these famous words of Nelson Mandela. "It is so easy to break down and destroy. Heroes are the ones who make peace and build." Thank you.
There was a time in my life when I thought heroes only wore capes and raced around Gotham City saving people, or needed to be celebrated and praised in order to justify their selfish actions. Through my journey these past 2 years, I have been lucky enough to meet a lot of people, and they don't wear capes. They also would prefer not to be called heroes at all. So, let's challenge each other to switch our current way of thinking about heroes, away from the overly celebrated person, to the person in your life you may call mom or dad, or the nurse during your hospital stay who was so gentle in taking your blood, to the middle school teacher battling leukemia and still teaching. These are all ordinary people that I have realized are heroes. True heroes don't need praise or recognition, and they are all brave and have grit, have a determined spirit with a never give up attitude, and work to put others' needs ahead of their own in the most selfless way. Teddy Roosevelt delivered a speech in 1910 titled "The Man in the Arena." In it, he describes those who deserve the credit for always showing up and trying, no matter what the outcome. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust, sweat, and blood, who strives valiantly. This speech perfectly describes how heroes all have the quality of bravery and grit. The image of a face marred by dust, sweat, and blood is vivid and helps to show how physically brave these heroes are, as well as mentally and emotionally. A brave hero in my life is my dad, who served as an officer in the Marines for 11 years. He doesn't share a lot of stories with us about what he experienced as a Marine, but all of his stories show me how brave he is and how much grit he has. It is because of this that he is one of my most inspirational heroes. True heroes also always persevere through their never give up attitude and determined spirit. In the book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, he describes the importance of having perseverance. The example he gives is a story of two men searching in a cave for gold. For one man, he digs and finally finds the gold. For the other, he stops 3 feet from finding the gold because he had worked too hard and did not see results. True heroes will always have the determined spirit and perseverance to never turn away and not keep digging. When I think of a hero in my life who shares these qualities, I think of Mr. Scantleberry. He is going through a leukemia battle and still comes to school every day excited to teach. Even through the hardest chemo treatments, he shows up with a determined spirit. This is characteristic of a true hero to so many students. In Man in the Arena, Roosevelt continues to describe heroism by saying, "It is someone who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error or shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds." To me, this summarizes all the characteristics of a true hero, one who has a determined spirit and a never give up attitude. Another quality of a true hero is self-sacrifice, where you put the needs of others ahead of yours. When I spent 38 days in the hospital after my leukemia diagnosis, my parents and I got to know many of the nurses, and there was one that we connected with right away. In the short time that we knew her, we could see how selfless she was and how she made us feel so special. Sydney is a perfect example of a hero in ordinary clothes, going through her day as a nurse in a cancer ward, but not expecting or looking for any sort of praise or gratitude. When I read Man in the Arena and relate it to people in my life who are true heroes, the speech makes a lot more sense, as does the definition of heroism. Who at the best, in the end, knows the triumph of high achievements, but who at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly. Sydney is a hero for always putting others' needs ahead of hers, and her selflessness shows me what a hero she really is. True heroes can be defined by showing bravery and grit, by persevering through all things with a never give up attitude, and are selfless in all that they do. Think about people that you have met in your life. Who has impacted you in a positive way? Who has helped you through a hard situation? Who do you find yourself looking up to because of their selflessness? Who can you think of who shows up every day and does the work, no matter how hard it is or how long it takes? I would bet the people you are thinking of are ordinary people, not superheroes. A true hero's place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. Thank you.
We see heroes all the time, in movies, social media, and even our own lives. Real-life superheroes have taken to the streets, like Phoenix Jones in Seattle. He spends his free time in a black and yellow supersuit, breaking up fights and confronting supposed racists in his community, just like heroes do in the movies. But this isn't necessarily as good as it sounds. We have to stop using the movie definition of hero because it's changing our view and narrowing our opinion to see male heroes as violent and controlling and female heroes as the invisible sidekicks. But this doesn't really matter though, because movies and media don't have a big impact on our opinions, right? Wrong. Let's talk about the movie The Day After Tomorrow, a movie designed to bring awareness to climate change in a dramatized way. Researchers took a poll of people who did and didn't watch the movie and found that 11% more people who watched the movie were concerned about global warming. You may think this is a fluke, but it's not. Other movies like Blackfish have a huge impact on people's opinions as well. Blackfish is a movie about orca breeding, and it led to SeaWorld visits dropping substantially, and it's believed to have caused SeaWorld to shut down its orca breeding program in 2016. And you consume a lot of this opinion-changing media. In fact, a recent study showed that by high school graduation, you spend more time consuming media like this than you spend in your actual classroom. You spend more time having your view of a hero narrowed than you spend learning about actual heroes. But what's so bad about the movie image of hero anyways? Well, let's start with the fact that your female heroes are virtually non-existent. In action movies, it was shown that men get 73% of all speaking parts and 77% of screen time, where women only get 27% of all speaking roles and 23% of screen time. It's not even close to half. And it gets worse when you realize the distribution of leadership roles in movies is also vastly incorrect. Women hold 24% of all political positions, but in the popular movies used for this study, there were only 127 characters playing political positions, and only 12 of them were women. That's less than half the real-world statistic. How are women supposed to inspire little girls out there to be leaders if they're not given leadership positions? In fact, there are lots of women who were uninspired and still are. In a study done in multiple countries, it showed that 80% of women want more female heroes, and almost 3/4 of them wanted more as children. If we base our definition of hero on your movie and comic book heroes, your female heroes would be virtually invisible. But women aren't the only ones suffering from hero stereotyping though. Men too suffer, but from a different kind. Men are shown as violent leaders. A study done on this exact topic found this to be the case. Boys and teens tend to conform with these stereotypes and end up becoming increasingly distant from family and friends and start having trouble expressing emotions. Current heroes also force men into the position of powerful leaders. Let's look back at the male characters playing political positions in movies, and you see 12 to 115, giving off the impression that men must be leaders to be heroes, and not showing the shy, soft-spoken, non-power-hungry male heroes that grace the real world. And even in the real world, men are more celebrated for violent behaviors than other acts of heroism, like Phoenix Jones. He earned his fame by breaking up fights, by spraying pepper spray into the crowd, and he was celebrated. But you never hear about the men who are settling fights with their words, because they're not cast in the movie definition of hero. We have to stop using and celebrating the movie and media definition of hero, because it's changing our opinion of what makes a real-life hero, casting male heroes as violent and controlling and female heroes as silent and invisible. But where does this leave us? It leaves us with a bit of hope, because not everyone is exalting this view of hero, like Gina Davis, who started the Institute of Gender and Media. She's trying to show the world that movie heroes shouldn't be used to categorize real-life heroes. And while media is the problem, it could also be the solution. Social media has been used to start and support many movements against this stereotyping, but the problem isn't solved, and it's still a big problem. If we don't take a stand against hero stereotyping, we may end up with another Phoenix Jones, who was arrested January 9th for illegal drug dealing. The fights he broke up, they weren't fights at all, just peaceful crowds, and the supposed racists he confronted were nothing of the sort. He was a violent, dangerous person, just like the media wanted him to be, and by media standards, he was the perfect hero. Thank you.
What makes a hero different from other people? In What Makes a Hero by Philip Zimbardo, he argues, the key to heroism is a concern for other people in need, a concern to defend a moral cause, knowing that there is a personal risk, done without expectation of reward. John Lewis, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and Danny Thomas are all examples of impactful heroes. Heroism is not blind courage. It is selfless action. It is knowing the odds are against you, but feeling that you must stay focused on making a difference for others. Our world has many heroes that are vital because they think of others first and help their community. Heroes can bring change to their community by helping build a better world for us all, forming meaningful connections between people, helping inspire people to do more for others. One of my heroes, John Lewis, fought segregation peacefully, made it possible for Black people living in the South to vote. He fought injustice anywhere he saw it from the time he was a young man, which made him inspiring to many people. John Lewis was a hero because he believed in peaceful protest and demonstrations. Like in May 2020, he implored angry rioters who were mad about the death of George Floyd to know that rioting, looting, and burning is not the way. Organize, demonstrate, sit in, stand up, vote, be constructive, not destructive. With these words, Lewis reinforced his belief that violence is not the answer. We can be more like him by standing up for people and their rights. Heroes like John Lewis can help alter people's thoughts, decisions, actions, and attitudes. Another hero is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. As we know, he was a pastor, activist, and a change agent in the civil rights movement. He worked hard to change how African Americans would be treated. For example, he knew he was treated differently because of the color of his skin. He endured getting put in jail for eating at a whites-only restaurant. He would risk his life by speaking out and peacefully protesting against segregation. We can be more like him by speaking out against prejudice, sticking up for others, showing kindness to people of all races, genders, ethnicities, and backgrounds. Martin Luther King Jr.'s heroic actions helped pave the way for a better world for us all. Danny Thomas is also a hero who helped save thousands of children's lives. He made a positive impact for the children living in the segregated South by opening a children's hospital in Memphis, Tennessee called St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Thomas once said, "No child should die in the dawn of life," which helped motivate him to open St. Jude. St. Jude finds cures for children who suffer from cancer and other catastrophic diseases through research and treatment. This is important not only for segregated children who are not getting the care they require, but by opening the first ever children's hospital, Danny Thomas changed children's lives forever. Danny Thomas's research hospitals are still improving children's lives even today and forming meaningful connections between people. These three heroes are important to me because they showed their compassion through taking action while still knowing there can be consequences, like personal loss, imprisonment, and even failure. I encourage you to think about the heroes that inspire you in your life. What makes them inspiring to you? Heroes can motivate ordinary people to think beyond themselves. Heroes like John Lewis, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and Danny Thomas create a plan of action to get the attention of a lot of people in order to bring about positive change, and our world is better for it. Thank you.
I ask no favors of my sex.
My apologies, that was my fault. Her microphone was not turned on. So for those of you at home who couldn't hear her, she did great. She did a great job. We were able to hear you, so nice job with that. Thank you very much. Sorry about that.
The inevitable fact that as humans, we will experience challenges that will test us. Life asks us questions like, am I brave enough? Can I get through this? These questions that surround our heads can tear us apart. Now you may wonder, how do you get through these periods of doubt and fear? The answer can vary, but majority of people say a hero. A hero can have many definitions, yet they all share one common aspect. A hero is someone who stands up for what is right, even if no one else will. Heroes are not heroes because they're rich or popular, but because they know the darkness all too well to stand down and live with it. Heroes are all around us. They encourage our society to strive for excellence and kindness. A perfect example of someone who's a hero are first responders. One memorable act of their heroism was on September 11, 2001, 9/11. According to journalist Paula May Oliver, over 60 policemen and 343 firefighters lost their lives on this horrific event. Many first responders just consider themselves humble servants, but in fact, they're risking their lives to help the community at large. They're the first ones on the scenes and the last ones to leave. They exhibit selflessness, adaptability, kindness, and perseverance on a daily basis. It is these traits that allow them to be the heroes that they are. An act of selflessness was shown in 2018 in California, where over 6,400 firefighters joined forces to control the fast-spreading wildfires. These men and women risked their lives while hardly taking a break from themselves. Neurovision Federal described these firefighters as doing all they could to save lives while hardly taking a break from themselves. In addition to the responders on the front line, nurses at Feather River Hospital showed the trait of adaptability. Forest fires of great measure surrounded the hospital, and nurses and staff used their quick thinking and evacuated patients to a nearby abandoned garage. It is because of their adaptability that over 80 people were saved. Heroism can come in any size, and police officer Michael Core exhibited this. One day, he saw a report of a little girl's stolen bike. That afternoon, he surprised the family with a new Princess bike and even taught the little girl how to ride. Now that's truly showing kindness. First responders are true heroes of our community because they show complete selflessness and compassion. But a uniform alone doesn't always make a hero. When I think of a hero, my mind immediately goes to two people with whom I live with, my parents. They are heroes who undertake a loving commitment to protect, care, and nurture their kids to the best of their ability. A fourth of the population even say their parents are their heroes. Parents or guardians possess a biological instinct to protect and support the offspring. This instinct is so strong that evidence has shown a remodeling in the brain of parents, especially mothers. Native Neuroscience published studies that shows preliminary evidence that this remodeling plays a big role in helping women transition to motherhood. Parents are the biggest heroes because they're the ones who raise, nurture, educate, and motivate the next generation of heroes. The examples I've talked about today show us that everyday people can make a difference. They're faced with a challenge and overcame it. With acts of love these heroes do, show us that humanity isn't destroyed. God's love, guidance,
and service is manifested through our actions and through our heroes. Heroes are answering God's call, and we can answer this call as well. We can open up our hearts to see where in our community people need help and comfort. Now you may wonder, how could I ever be a hero? I am just me. To answer this question, I like to remember what Jesuit priest Greg Bowley once said. Don't forget, you're the hero in your own story. When I hear this quote, it reminds me that you don't need power, money, or social media to be a glimpse of hope for someone else. Standing up for the press and deepening your awareness and level of compassion is enough. You are enough. At the end of the day, heroes don't sit back and let other people struggle. They join them, and together they rise above the challenge. Former President Ronald Reagan once said, "Heroes may not be braver than anyone else. They're just braver 5 minutes longer." The question you need to ask yourself is, are you going to last 5 minutes longer? Are you going to try your best and allow your light to shine? The world is anxiously waiting for your gifts. Don't keep them in suspense. Thank you.
I have heard their groans and sighs and seen their tears, and I would give every drop of blood in my veins to free them. These words by Harriet Tubman show that leaders should be devoted to their cause when challenging society's rules. Harriet Tubman, Katherine Johnson, and Madam C.J. Walker were all significant leaders during their time that were focused and sympathetic towards others. More than anything, they were compassionate, bold, yet humble, leaving an impeccable legacy in American history. No matter what struggles you're going through, you can be a leader. However, in order to be an effective one, you must be versatile with the traits of being dedicated, humble, and bold. Madam C.J. Walker is a perfect example of a leader's necessary trait of being committed. She single-handedly created an entire hair care line called Walker's Magical Hair Grower and built Walker's Manufacturing Company. Unfortunately, according to Indiana's Historical Society, working so hard all her life took a toll on her health. Between traveling constantly, managing her business, and speaking at many different functions, she developed health problems, including kidney failure and high blood pressure. Still, she persevered, and after opening a beauty school and employing over 3,000 Black women, she became the first ever Black female to become a millionaire. Just like Walker, leaders today should remember to be committed. No matter what struggles you're going through, you will make it to your final goal. In the same way that Madam C.J. Walker had her own unique traits, Harriet Tubman also had her own unique traits that made her such a significant leader. Harriet Tubman was an important leader during her time, but the traits that made her different than the others was her ability to be proactive. According to her great-great-grandniece, Aunt Harriet would do laundry. She delivered it in a wagon, and my grandmother would go with her. She also had several different businesses during the Civil War, including a laundromat and a restaurant. Clearly, Tubman was a very proactive leader, and this is the same way that leaders today should be. This is the type of leader that is always ready for the next step. And once you achieve this trait, you will become one step closer to becoming a better leader. Katherine Johnson was also a great leader during her time. She stayed humble and calm with those who doubted and ridiculed her. She had a successful career at NASA and was often showered with many praise and love. But she remained humble and used the phrases, "just doing her job," and quotes as these. Also, one of her daughters also said that whenever she came home from work, she wasn't expecting any praise. The heroes at the time were astronauts. She was simply a team person. Clearly, a main trait of being a successful hero is being humble. You must realize that sometimes the best work is done in silence. Clearly, the traits of being a good hero are being dedicated, committed, and humble. You must remember and humble. Anyone who wants to be a hero can, but in order to be an effective one, you must remember to be committed, bold, and humble. Thank you.
Anyone can be a hero. You don't have to have a superpower like flying, heat vision, or super strength. Instead, you can have a superpower of love, courage, or kindness. If you want to be a hero, just reach out to someone in need. If you make at least one person a day happy, isn't that enough? If you love others and love God, won't you have a good life? We all want power, money, and success, but that is not all that God wants for us. A true hero is someone who puts others' needs and values before their own. When I was younger, I really wanted to have a superpower. I would love to be able to fly or to be invisible. Then I could sneak around the house or fly all around town. But as I grow up and am saturated in faith, I realized that the greatest superpower isn't the ability to fly or invisibility or the ability to move water or even heat vision. It's simply the ability to love, to encourage, and to offer kindness to those who need it. Love everyone, your enemies, your friends, even that one person you walk by every day on the street. Encourage those who are in doubt and offer strength to those who really need it. Offer kindness to those who feel hurt, bullied, or alone. When you do these things, you are revealing a true superpower. When you reach out to someone in need, not for the fame or fortune you might get, but because you love and care about that person, you are revealing the ultimate superpower. Most superheroes use their powers for good. They save their planet from a bomb or a monster. There are those times, though, when the good guy makes a bad decision that could lead to a crummy consequence. This doesn't only happen in Marvel movies. It also happens in everyday life. We constantly find ourselves making a decision. For example, whether to help that person you pass on the street every day or to ignore them. or simply to share a smile with someone who is down, or to give them a frown and walk away. It could be these little decisions that could change someone's life. Mother Teresa once said, "Not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love." Resist the temptation to make the bad choice, and instead make the good choice to share love with others and with God. We all want to be successful in life. We all want power, and we all want money. But those are not the most important things in the world. We are not going to get to heaven because we're prosperous, or have authority, or cash. We get to heaven when we use all of that success to help others. Just as Pope Francis says, the world tells us to seek success, power, and money. God tells us to seek humility, service, and love. Even if we don't have money, power, or success, but we love and we serve and we put others first, we will have a good life. Use your superpower to reach out to someone in need, just because you love and care about them. Resist the temptation to ignore that one person and instead give to them and help them out. Go out and seek humility, service, and love. If you do this, you can be a hero in someone's life. A hero doesn't have to do a grand act, like save a kid from drowning or save someone from being kidnapped, even though you could still be a hero if you do this. All you have to do is reach out to someone who needs your help. A true hero is someone who puts others first, before themselves. A true hero doesn't make their life about them, but about God and the rest of His creation. Thank you.
What makes a hero? Who are heroes? Heroes are the ones that are first to do the impossible. Heroes are the noble ones that might not get the credit they deserve, but are behind it all. Heroes are the ones that achieve greatness upon anyone's knowing. They are the brave ones that jump out of this world to be bold, fearless, courageous, all for the benefit of others. Heroes do for the common good and the well-being of others, not themselves. Everyone has a hero in their life. They might be a fictional character, a historical figure, a friend, a family member, really anyone that you look up to as a role model. Heroes are the ones that encourage us to do our best and strive for excellence in all that we do. We always talk about the choices that heroes make that define them as somebody to admire. But have you ever thought the choices they did not make propelled their heroism even more? The choice not to fight back, not to be guided by anger, not to drop out of school, not to let popular opinion guide their choices. Their actions spoke louder than their words. They had the tenacity to say no to things in our everyday life we say yes to, even though we know it is wrong. We all have the propensity to become a hero. So what will you do to become a life changer? Heroes do not always wear capes. My first memory of a hero, you could probably guess, was a superhero. But later on in life, I came to the realization that most heroes do not wear superhero outfits, do not have super speed, super strength, invisibility, really any superpower for that matter. The real heroes are the ones that have the power to speak up when no one wants to listen, the power to do something that no one has done before, the power to ignite the flame of change. Heroes do for others, and they are selfless and give up their own happiness and comfort for others. Rodney D. Bullard once said, "A hero is patient and is willing to be consistent, even when it requires sacrifice." A true, honorable hero gives up anything another person needs. They do not think about the fame or the gain they may not get. They think about the positive impact it will have on others. John chapter 5, verse 30 says, "I can do nothing on my own initiative. Just as I hear, I judge, and my judgment is just. I do not seek my will, but the will of the one who sent me." Heroes do because it is the right thing to do. They reach out as the hands of Christ. So no matter how big or how small the sacrifice, they are a worthy hero. Heroes add color to the black and white outline, like a coloring book. Life gives you colorless outlines. Heroes are the ones that add the hues. They push the limits of the outlines. They push the boundaries of unfair treatment. And heroes touch exponential lives. They not only influence the lives they touch, but generations to follow. Their legacy inspires future heroes. Heroes like Mother Teresa have had a global impact today, tomorrow, and beyond. Heroes are the ones that coach us through the good and the bad times in life. They are the humble ones that are behind the scenes that you might not see, but are making the biggest impact. Heroes do for others, and you can be a hero too. They are the light in the darkness. They add vividness to all of the grayscale contour of this world. They find good in all things. We all have a hero inside. The question is, what will you do, and what will you not do? Thank you.
I ask no favors of my sex. All I ask of our brethren is that they take their feet off our necks. This quote by Ruth Bader Ginsburg will always be one of my favorites. This quote says a lot. To me, it is saying how we as women are not asking for much. We are not asking for special privileges or even advantages over men. We are just simply asking not to be held back. Many women throughout history are thought of as heroes for the things that they accomplished despite being held back by sexism. Ruth Bader Ginsburg fought sexism and other injustices, all while receiving much hate merely for being female. Overall, she is my hero because she is hardworking, brave, and compassionate. From early in her life, Ruth Bader Ginsburg worked very hard. She achieved excellent grades in school, was devoted to her husband and children, and achieved more in her career than many of her male colleagues. She once said, "The study of law was unusual for girls in my generation. For most women growing up in the 1940s, the most important degree was not your BA, but your MRS, or your Mrs. Based on this quote, I think Ruth Bader Ginsburg wanted to prove that she could do both, that she could be a wife and a mother while also achieving great success outside the home. And she did it, and it was hard work. Ruth Bader Ginsburg raised 2 children and for a while was the primary caretaker of her husband, who also had cancer. And guess what else she was doing at the exact same time? Building her impressive resume with professional accomplishments, of course. Ruth Bader Ginsburg earned a bachelor's degree from Cornell University, graduating first in her class, a law degree from Columbia University, again graduating first in her class. She was the first person on both the Columbia and Harvard Law Reviews, the second female professor at Rutgers University, and the first tenured law professor at Columbia University. She was the co-founder and director of the Women's Rights Project of the ACLU, argued 6 cases before the Supreme Court and won 5, and was the first female Jewish Supreme Court justice. And that list doesn't even include what she's most famous for. This is all evidence of really, really hard work, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg inspires me to work harder for everything I want to achieve in my life. Another quality that makes Ruth Bader Ginsburg a hero is bravery. Many of us associate heroes with bravery, and who better to represent a brave hero than a woman who accomplished many things in her life despite ridicule, rejection, and discrimination. When Ginsburg was in law school, the dean ridiculed her and the other women in her class as taking the spots of more qualified males. Even though she had an impressive resume with high intelligence, she faced gender discrimination when she applied for jobs as they were given to, well, less qualified males. We all experience people who put us down or don't believe in us. I do not think I could persevere like Ginsburg did despite all the discrimination that she had to face. Ruth Bader Ginsburg is my hero because I hope to become, one day, more brave like she is. Compassion. Compassion means pity and concern for the sufferings and misfortunes of others. Ruth Bader Ginsburg showed compassion in countless ways. She is most famous for fighting and winning cases on women's equal rights, but a lot of people do not know is that she also fought for the rights of both genders and anyone who needed compassion and support. Ginsburg once shared that the sense of being an outsider, of being one who had suffered oppression for no sensible reason, makes you more empathetic to those who are not insiders, who are outsiders. Ruth Bader Ginsburg is my hero. As Catholics, we are taught to stand up for what we believe in and to always help out those who are struggling. Ruth Bader Ginsburg did this and many other things that also represented the Catholic values. Ruth Bader Ginsburg is hardworking, brave, and compassionate. She fought injustice, achieved excellence, and flourished in the face of adversity. She once said, "I would like to be remembered as someone who used whatever gifts she had, or whatever talent she had, to the very best of her ability." Yes, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, you will forever be remembered as a hero. Thank you. That's awesome.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you to all of our contestants. I know every one of you worked very hard to research and develop these incredible presentations. So please, let's give them another round of applause. You rocked it. Second, I want to thank our judges again for your time. They will now be deliberating over what is sure to be a challenging call to decide our winners for this year's competition, and their decision will be announced tomorrow during our morning TNN newscast. And finally, thanks to all of you for listening. I hope that you have been inspired by these speeches. To paraphrase words from our journalist judge, Bill Torpy, our words should mirror what we see in our communities. They should point out when we live up to what we should be and when we fall short. They should encourage us to debate, discuss, and exhort how we can be better. As a Catholic community in the Jesuit tradition, I hope we will all be encouraged to look at how our faith and our church leads us to treat each other with dignity and respect, to support each other in need, and encourage each of you to be a hero to somebody today. Thank you.